My fiancée hid her homeless ex-boyfriend in our house for 3 months while planning our wedding. When I discovered the truth, I called everything off, but she claimed she was just helping a friend until I found out she never planned to tell me. I'm a 29-year-old guy and I need some perspective on what happened with my now ex-fiancée Sarah 28F. We were supposed to get married 3 weeks ago, but I called off the wedding the night before. People are telling me I overreacted, but I can't shake the feeling that I made the right choice. Sarah and I had been together for 3.5 years. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue in 2021. She worked as a marketing coordinator at a tech startup, and I'm an electrician. We moved in together after about 8 months and got engaged last Christmas. Everything seemed normal between us. We had the usual disagreements about money and whose turn it was to do dishes, but nothing major. The wedding planning process was mostly smooth. We decided on a small ceremony with about 80 guests at a venue outside the city. Sarah handled most of the details since she's better at organizing than I am. I took care of the honeymoon booking and the bachelor party. We split the costs down the middle and both our families contributed some money. About 6 months before the wedding, Sarah started mentioning her college friend Steven to 9M more often. She said he was going through a rough patch with his career and had been reaching out to her for advice. I didn't think much of it at first. Sarah has always been the type to help people when they're struggling. Steven had dated Sarah for about 2 years in college. They broke up when Sarah transferred to a different university for her junior year, from what Sarah told me. They stayed friendly, but didn't keep in regular contact after graduation. She mentioned him maybe twice in our entire relationship before this year. The conversations about Steven became more frequent around March. Sarah would mention phone calls they had where he talked about his job search or complained about his living situation. He had apparently gotten laid off from his job at a consulting firm and was having trouble finding something new. His lease was up, and he was considering moving back home with his parents. I started to notice that Sarah would step outside or go to another room when Steven called. When I asked about it, she said he was just embarrassed about his situation and preferred privacy when discussing personal matters. That seemed reasonable to me at the time. In April, Sarah mentioned that Steven might be moving to our city for a new job opportunity. She seemed excited about the possibility of having an old friend nearby. I told her that sounded nice and that I'd be happy to meet him once he got settled. 2 months before the wedding, Sarah brought up the guest list. We had already sent save the dates, but were finalizing the official invitations. She casually mentioned that she wanted to add Steven to the list since he would be in town by then, and it would be a good opportunity for him to meet people and make connections. I asked her to think about it more since adding extra guests would increase our costs, and we had already planned for a specific number. She agreed to consider it and didn't bring it up again for a few weeks. 3 weeks before the wedding, I was helping Sarah address the final batch of invitations when I noticed Steven's name on one of the envelopes. I asked her about it, and she said she had decided to